Hey everybody, welcome to Aurora Graphics. My name's Grant Dorsey, and today I thought I'd show you how we can take these bed bands that we offer and absolutely customize them to be anything that you'd like. The first thing we'll need to do is open up the CutContour for this bed band, and in order to make the CutContour come in here at the correct scale, if you remember back to the template setup video that I put out, we'll need to open that vector into here at the same exact resolution that the bed band was created at. So if the bed band was at 96 dpi, we would want to bring in the vector at 96 dpi. This one in this case, we'll just go to the image size so you can see it's at 72 dpi. So in order to make it come in at the right scale, the correct number of inches, we'll go ahead and import it at 72. And you notice our pixel dimensions is just about right. You can tell that the zoom level is 25% on each of them, even though they look similar size. If this zoom level was at 6% or at 100%, they wouldn't be even close. So rather than drag and drop it in there, if you select all and then click edit copy and then come over to here and click edit paste, it'll actually paste it directly over the top, exactly perfect. So now we can get rid of that vector. And you can see we've got two layers here. So with the vector layer selected, I'm going to get my magic wand tool. You notice my tolerance is quite a ways down, and I'm just going to click in this circle here. And what that's going to do is put marching ants all the way around the circle of my vector. And you notice it's just a little bit outside, but it's not quite far enough. So what we're going to do is select, modify, expand our selection, and we just need 1 pixel. We just need it to step out 1 pixel. And so now what we're going to do is go edit, cut, and if you notice our marching ants went away there. So what we need to do is select, reselect, and now whenever we paste, it's going to put it right back in that circle exactly centered. So we'll just click edit paste. And now we've got this layer as a separate layer, so anytime we control click that, we can create that selection area very easily just by loading selection on it. If I control D to deselect, you can see when I'm on this, select, load selection, it asks you, do you want layer 2? Yes, we want layer 2. Click OK, and it puts the marching ants right around layer 2. Okay, the next thing we need to do is separate this section and this section from the two sides. I'm going to go ahead and turn the circle off. So again, with the magic wand, we'll just come in here and click both those sections. If you click one, it'll select it. If you click the other, it'll just select that. So what you have to do is hold shift after you've got one selected to select the other, and now you've got them both. Again, we're going to modify our selection by expanding it. Just 1 pixel will work. We can go ahead and zoom in here and make sure that it jumped out, and it did. So we'll zoom out here. And on this layer, we'll go edit, cut, and then select, reselect, and then edit paste. And so now you can see we've got our outside lines, our big chunks top and bottom, and then our circle is separate completely. And so now we can use those selection areas in order to fill these shapes with different things. For instance, here's our duck heaven image. And by the way, this fish bed band is one of the easier ones that we have to do this with, because none of the image is hanging outside of this circle. If there was part of the image hanging outside that circle, you would have to delete that in some sort of way if you wanted a perfectly round center. For instance, the buck bed bands that we have, the antlers are hanging up over the edge and things like that. So this fish bed band is one of the easier ones to use. So what we're going to do here is just drag and drop this into the image. You can see it's way bigger than it needs to be. So we'll shrink it down. And I'm just going to get it somewhere in the ballpark of where we actually want it, but not too small. If you go too small, obviously, and try to blow it back up, it's not going to work out for you. So again, control click the picture of the circle. You see we get the marching ants there. And now I'm just going to add a layer mask. If you're really unfamiliar with these layer masks, you should probably go check out the tutorial I did on alpha channels. If you notice there, my layer mask is scaling with the layer, so we need to unchain that. And then with the print layer selected, we can come in here and realign the ducts to where we want them. And then we can get rid of this image. And here we've got the Bushwolf Obliteration Tall Grass Camo. And so I'm going to replace this honeycomb looking area here with that camouflage. And so control click that, select it, or that area, so you get the marching ants top and bottom. We're going to add another layer mask. Again, we're going to unchain it, select the print layer, and then we can shrink this down. Again, holding shift and alternate to maintain the correct proportions. And that looks pretty good to me. Now if you notice, we had a stroke on here. If I turn this off, you can see that the stroke, or actually let's just reduce the opacity so you can see through it. The stroke actually came way inside, and so whenever you go to cut this, it's going to cut with inside the black. And if we leave this right here where it's at without adding a bit of another stroke to it, what's going to end up happening is your cut line is going to try to land right there on the camo and the black separation. And if you do that, you'll end up with a little bit of black here and a little bit of camo, you know, here and there. And so in order to make this cut dead center down the black and get the stroke that you're looking for, we'll double click the layer. The other way you can get to the layer styles palette is just to go layer, layer style, and what we want is a stroke, so I'm going to click that. And if you notice here, the stroke is actually on the outside. See, it says outside. So what we're going to do is put it on the inside, and that way it comes into our print file. We're going to go ahead and make it black like the other stroke. And if you notice, the other one came in clear to this area here, so we can increase the size until we get to there, or we can make it shorter. It really doesn't matter. It's kind of up to you how much black you want to leave on the edge. Just make sure when you come back and control click here that your cut contour is landing within that stroke. If we turn the stroke off, you can see the cut contour is going right to the edge. So go ahead and put you an inside stroke on that. And we can deselect. And now if you notice, if I control click the circle, we've got the same issue happening where it's actually going to cut right on the edge of the black and the white. And if you've got any variance in how you load your material, this is going to leave you a white edge on some spots and a black edge in others, and that's not going to look real great. So again, we're going to come with another inside stroke, put it to the inside, go ahead and turn it black, and I'm going to zoom in here. I'd like to see if I can make this stroke and that stroke similar. So with this selected, I'm going to hold control to click this, but you'll notice if I do that, it stops selecting the circle, and I want to see where this selection and the circle selection are at the same time. So instead of just control clicking the other one, I'm going to hold control and shift. You see I get the little plus on my hand here. If you look at in the layers palette there's a plus popping up. So I've got control held right there, and that's going to allow me to click the layer thumbnail and select it. So then I'm going to keep control down and hold shift now and add the circle to it. So now when I go into my stroke here, see, this is going to get cut away, so that doesn't matter. What we need is this thickness inside to be the same thickness as this inside. So what we're going to do is just start running our scroll wheel up until it looks pretty even. It doesn't have to be exactly the same number of pixels. You can count them if you want. Go back and look at the other. To me, that's if it's close enough to your eyeball at 1000% zoom, that's going to be well within the tolerance that your computer, or your printer is going to output. Control D to deselect, and then you can kind of play with this. I guess my camo is still at a low opacity. So with this, we can do an inner glow if you'd like. Turn that black. Make sure you change this. Defaults to screen mode, and if you use black in screen mode, it disappears. So go ahead and change it to normal, and then if you notice the camo, we can add that black in, that shadow, as much as we'd like. Kind of gives it a 3D rolled edge look. I like the way that is. So we'll click OK there, and then you could also add a similar thing to Let's go with an inner shadow on this. Uncheck use global light in case you have other shadows, and then you notice you can get a nice cutout look. If you'd like to go with another inner glow, make sure you don't forget to change your blending mode to normal, and then you can come in evenly all the way around. If your customer, you build something like this for him, you go ahead and alter your bed band, whatever. As long as you saved your layered file, you can come back in here and reselect these and change this up super quickly. So like for instance, if we wanted to keep more of a gray theme and get rid of the camouflage, we could just turn this layer off, drag our diamond plate in here. This is the fireman's diamond plate, in case anyone was wondering. Go ahead and shrink it till it's the size of the window, and then with alternate held, you'll see if I hold alternate, I can click and drag a copy of that layer mask to this layer. So now we're masked off perfectly. I can even alternate and click and drag the layer style over to it, and now we're right back in business with a completely different fill. So that's how you can very quickly use the cut contours and the print file that we've provided for our bed bands to come up with just about anything that your customer is interested in. Well, that about does it for this tutorial. I really appreciate you joining me for this. I hope you learned a lot, and we'll see you next time.